Pedro from A&P-Reacts. I'm here today with Tuomas and Patrik of Atlas to talk about the latest record, Ukko, out December 10th on Long Branch Records. How are you guys doing?
Good, good.
Well,
Perfect.
It's nice to see your lovely faces on the channel to talk about this wonderful record. And let's start off from the beginning. What was the starting point for you guys as far as this record is concerned? Because it feels like it's a very emotionally charged, emotionally driven album. So where did it all start?
Well, it all started, we just wanted to do something new, just like experiment with new stuff, take influences from different kinds of music, like Finnish folk music, poetry, not just music, I mean, really everything. And then summer of 2020, my father passed away, and he was like a father figure for the whole band. He used to come to every show. He would drive us to Germany to take us on tour and everything. And he was really close with everyone. And so unfortunately, he passed away in the summer of 2020. And that really like set the whole album in a different direction, because we just wanted to do the whole thing for him. And that's what's behind all the emotional charge of the album, I guess.
Did that, having that as the backdrop, and my condolences to you. I lost my father 4 years ago suddenly, so I can totally relate to losing a father figure. My father was very similar. He took me everywhere, and now I try to do the same for my kid, trying to pass on the baton and honor his memory by doing exactly the same thing. So having that as the backdrop for you guys, did that make the album more challenging?
I'm not sure I would say challenging, but that's a good question. It was, I kind of felt that we couldn't do wrong by him, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. He would be proud of anything we did, but still there was some pressure to like really step it up a notch, and like, because it's in his honor and to his memory, so we don't want to do anything half-assed or anything like that. Yeah. So if anything, I guess it just prolonged the writing process for some stuff. We didn't want to have any like fillers or fluff on the album.
So you mentioned also that this record changed, and it has, because obviously I heard the previous and I've heard this album, and there's definitely a change in the sound, the change in the direction and the atmosphere that you guys created with this record. So when you think about putting this album together, how was the creative process for you guys coming from that debut album into this record, and with that backdrop behind it?
Good question. I think all of us listened more to metal bands during that time, more than like metalcore music.
Yeah.
So that was a factor.
Yeah, and it was a conscious decision to move away from the metalcore thing. Like, obviously we have our roots there, and it's never gonna leave our music, I guess. But like, just I don't know, more mature music, I guess. I don't want to say metalcore is immature, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Still, I don't know. It just, we all wanted to do something different, and I think we started to grasp that at the end of this, like writing this album. So we're excited to write the next one.
So this is going to be something you guys are going to continue. This sound on this record, and what I mean is the sound on this record is not just because the passing of your father had that impact on the creativity behind the album. This is the sound that Atlas will push, maybe not exactly the same, but will push going forward. Is that the plan?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe less sad in the future.
I mean, you guys are Finnish, so I don't think you can move I don't think you can get rid of all of that melancholy all at once.
Yeah, definitely not. And that's been like a big thing in our music always. It's not gonna be happy, but like there's some stuff on the album that's just like, it's like sad to listen to. I don't want to listen to some of the songs on that record. So if you know what I mean, we're gonna just, but yeah, that palette and that sound we like debuted on this album, we're gonna push that definitely, and that's something we really want to do.
Now, for the fans of the band that are familiar with the debut record, obviously listen to the singles that you guys have released. Is there still any surprises left when they pick up this record and listen to the album from beginning to end for the first time?
I think so, yeah. I think there's like this weird atmosphere throughout that just grasps you. And it's weird because I always wanted to write an album like that. It's like one continuous like song almost. It's not like a concept album or anything, but everything, all the songs, like they meld together so well. And I don't know, I think there's definitely stuff that first time listeners and fans that have been listening to all the songs can find some new stuff there.
The
We don't
album
want to give
has,
away too much, so
yeah, you don't want to ruin the surprise, right?
yeah, that's it.
The album has an incredible sound, an incredible atmosphere. Were you guys aware of that throughout the recording process, or did the picture become clear once you had the final product and you're sitting down and you're like, wow, man, this is really something special?
I think by the second single, we were pretty much convinced that we were onto something, because it was a weird like writing and releasing process, because we did 5 singles, I think. No, 4. First of those was in March of this year, and that was the only song wrote for the whole album at that point. Then we did the second single. At that point we had 2 songs. Third single we had 3 songs. We didn't have the whole album, so we released the singles from the album before the whole thing was even done.
Wow.
Yeah, so Taivaanranta would be the first one.
Yeah, and Ukko was the second, and then it kind of started to shape a bit. And yeah, but we were in a hurry to finish it for sure.
It's incredible that that's the roadmap that you guys took. You know, I've said this in our videos whenever we checked out one of your videos on the channel, that while I enjoyed the debut record, this album, the sound that you guys created through these singles up until now that I had the opportunity to listen to the whole record, it's a much improved band. It doesn't even feel like I'm listening to the same band. Like you said earlier, I'm not saying metalcore is not mature, but the sound that you guys have on this record is night and day. It's a completely different band. It shows a different side of you guys. Are you able to showcase a little bit more of what you have as musicians with the sound that you have currently on this album versus the debut record?
Yeah, absolutely. We were just finding our feet on the debut so much and not knowing what we were doing, really. Looking back at it, we thought we did, but we didn't. So now, like the chemistry in the band and the writing and everything, everyone's just on a whole nother level, like compared to, what was that, 2017 or something, when we wrote that album. So it's like night and day. As you said, we feel the same. It's like a different band to that.
Yeah, it feels like we have just found something new. And
I think you guys found it, whatever it is. This is
it
for
us. I mean,
yeah, it fits you guys perfectly. You have the right sound, the right tools. This album is phenomenal. I mean, it's incredible that an album, normally the best albums of the year come in a little bit earlier in the year. It tends to be that way. There's not a lot of great releases in December, and you guys held back all the way to the end of the year to put out an album like this. It blows my mind. And when I looked at the track listing, I thought the track listing played a very important role in the overall playability of the album. How much time did you guys spend putting these songs together in order for the record to have that nice flow, that nice continuity?
That was, I actually attribute that to the fact that we were super late on releasing the stuff, because we had to release the track listing in June, I think, when we released Ukko, and we only had 2 songs written by then. So we had to write songs for the names we released.
Yeah, we came up with a bunch of names, and then we had to make songs for the names. So.
And I mean, we did have like demos and like skeletons of songs, but not finished products by any means. So we wrote all the songs after naming them, I guess.
How is that? This is not normal, right? Like this is not a normal.
No, it's not.
This is not a normal writing process. You don't like you release a single, that's all you have. You release another single, that's all you have. You put a track listing together with no songs, just titles. Like how crazy is this? And how much of this you don't want to try to do it ever again in the future?
Definitely never again. I mean,
I wouldn't be too sure about that.
Because it worked.
It worked, yeah. So.
And as you said, you feel like the track listing and the song order, like it works. So I don't know, we might try it again. Part of that is also Buster Odeholm, who's mixing us and mastering and everything, and he's super good friends with me, and he's great and flexible to work with. So that was another thing that kind of gave us the possibility to even do this.
Wow, really interesting. I want to talk to you a little bit about to you guys about the guitars. I really enjoy the acoustic guitars on the album. What are you trying to achieve with that sound, with that acoustic guitar sound?
I think that's one of the folkish elements we just want to put in there. But
yeah, that's it's definitely like a folk element, more like just an acoustic like instrument, any of them. We have like a bunch of drums and acoustic guitars and stuff on the album, but like I don't know, there was like this idea that if a song is gonna work acoustically, it's gonna work with like a wall of sound and drums and distorted guitars and the whole production. A lot of the things on the album were just written with an acoustic guitar.
So
yeah,
that was a good
and it
starting
brings that, you know, that organic feel that we like as well.
Yeah, I thought it created a nice balance, because on one hand you have the acoustic guitars, on the other hand you have the super gritty guitar sound, and that's the next thing I was going to ask you is about that gritty guitar sound. Overall, did you want that sort of distortion in the guitars? Is that something that you were hoping to achieve, to maybe make the album feel a little bit more gritty, to match the atmosphere that the tracks had? Is that what you guys were going for?
I think so, yeah. We pretty much give like freedom to do whatever to Buster, our mixer, and he always delivers. Of course, we'll have revisions and stuff, but that was actually the final guitar sound on the album. It's super gritty and distorted and a bit fuzzy even. And it's just, I don't know, it brings this like dirty and like unpolished feel to the whole thing that I just like.
Yeah, it definitely stands out, that's for sure. If you look back at this record, I mean, there is no rhyme or reason. I mean, this album was constructed in a very unorthodox kind of way. So it's even hard for me to ask this question, but was there a song that stood out in your mind as being perhaps a difficult song to finalize, even though you're like, okay, this track has to make it in there, we have to find a way of making it work? Was there anything like that, or the whole album was like that?
Throughout the record, I think we had a pretty good flow on writing the songs. But if I'd have to pick one up, I think it would be the last song on the record, possibly.
Yeah, maybe yeah.
Recording those vocals or writing them was a bit challenging, I think. Well, not too much though.
Yeah. And when it came to the lyrics, what comes first? Do you guys get the songs ready and then you start working on the lyrics towards those tracks? Is that how it works? How was the process for the lyrics on this record?
It depends. Usually we have the instrumental of the song, and then we kind of feel it out, like what does it sound like visually, if that makes sense, and just like what kind of pictures or like visuals it invokes, and we just transfer that into the lyrics. Sometimes we have like texts, lyrics ready, and we'll just try it out if we can just cram them in a song or not. That works sometimes, but usually it's just
rarely though.
Yeah, like maybe once in our whole careers that has worked. But yeah, it's definitely not an afterthought, but we usually do the vocals and lyrics last.
And speaking of the vocals, since I have Patrik here, how was it? You have an album that has this huge emotional backdrop behind it. You have songs that have this guitar grit or bring in this acoustic sound that creates these two polar opposite worlds. Then you have lyrics that match the intensity, that match that emotion that the whole album has. Where do you come in? Like, what are you trying to do in order to make the songs feel whole? Like, what was your approach?
Well, a lot of the stuff regarding the vocals, we do that with Tuomas. We just feel out how does the riff sound, if it's aggressive or if you have acoustics coming in. That's probably the moment we try to sing some low notes. In Finnish, maybe it really depends. We just go with the flow of the song. And also important thing is the lyrics, because you need to when I listen to music, I want the vocals to, I want to believe the vocals, if you know what I mean. I want to feel what the vocalist is saying. So that's why lyrics are important as well, on which type of vocal we choose to go with.
Is it difficult to find that balance when you're trying to, you have the sound, you have the lyrics, and then somehow you have to find room for your vocals somewhere in the middle there in order to kind of glue all the other pieces? Does it come natural?
Well, when we write songs, we always keep in mind that there needs to be space for the vocals. This is something we've learned since the first album.
Yeah, and we have kind of a mantra that vocals first, even though we do them last. The whole song might change if we feel a vocal, like a chorus is better.
Yeah, it's like
with different instrumentation, like the song Berry, which is the third single. After doing vocals on that, I think one chord of the original song, like that's the only thing that's left of the original demo and the instrumental. Yes. Everything else changed.
Sometimes the melody just doesn't fit to it. So
yeah.
Yeah, we think of the songs and music like the vocals are the face of the song, if you know.
Yeah, and that's going to be like the most strong thing that people relate to. And if that's not believable and there's a good guitar thing going on in the background, no one gives a shit. And I don't like music like that, and we don't want to write music like that. It's always like the strongest instrument is always the vocals.
Yeah, I'm with you on that 100%. One last question for you guys, and that is this album, I'm sure, has left you with some scars, either because of what happened beforehand, the chaotic process. I've never heard of an album coming together like this. This has got to be the first in world history of music. You know, like it's even incredible that we're sitting here talking about a full-length album coming out in a couple of weeks. So I'm sure there's been some scars that have been left by this record. Do you feel like those scars, while they might heal, they're gonna leave you guys with a long-lasting impact on how you move forward as musicians?
Definitely, I think, yeah, we've learned so much making this album, and I don't know, definitely there's going to be some scars, but I think like the whole process of writing and making this music together, and just like the hours spent together with the band, it's like a cathartic experience to get the whole album out. And like we all knew the goal at the beginning, and it changed along the way, but still we're all happy with the result and super proud of ourselves. So I think there's more positive than negative to take away from this process.
Yeah, definitely. We have a whole new base, so to speak, to build up from with the third one.
Yeah, I think you guys should definitely be proud of this record. It is an outstanding album. And I felt like this progression was coming, because I've been following you guys on the channel from the beginning all the way until now, and I've seen that progression, songs getting better, more mature, better sound, better atmosphere, better connection for the listener to feel attached to what you guys are creating. And this album is kind of like the cherry on top. Finally, all the pieces are coming together. So Magnificent job. Congratulations on the record. Best of luck with the release on December 10th. And I hope to see you guys in Tampere at some point in time soon at the
We
Beaver
hope
Ball.
to see you too.
Thank you for the kind word. We hope to see you too.
All right, man. Take care, guys.
You too.
You too.
Thanks.